Welcome to the root of it all. I'm Scott.
I'm Alicia, and today we're going to be talking about demystifying the RV buying process.
Ooh. We made the trip from South Louisiana up to Pennsylvania a few months ago to buy this RV, and reflecting back upon that, we realized that there are a lot of questions that are unanswered about this process, a lot of things that are, well, people just don't know until they go through it, and we felt it'd be worth it to share that with you. We're going to have Sean and Kristen from Tom Schaeffer's RV.
We're going to ask them a few questions about the RV buying process, and they're going to give us a behind-the-scene look at what it's like at a dealership. Hopefully you get some good tips. Stay tuned, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
I don't know. I have never used Zoom recording. I know it does it.
Woohoo! First time!
Experimentation. Here we go.
Hey!
It's connecting to audio.
Sorry, this is a new computer and I hadn't downloaded Zoom yet on it.
Okay. Now we're like, we've had technical difficulties. You've had technical difficulties. We're in it together. Thank you guys so much for agreeing to have this conversation with us. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Sean Shanoskie, sales consultant here at Tom Schaeffer's RV.
My name is Chris Norgera, and I'm the marketing manager here at Tom Schaeffer's.
Basically, we have some questions for you guys, and maybe you can help people to understand what this looks like. We kind of understand what it looks like, so we're probing you with questions that we think would be helpful for other people to know. So you guys ready to dive right into it?
Let's do it.
Okay. The first question was kind of actually something we don't know what happens. It's when an RV arrives on your lot, what actually happens before customers like us see it?
A transport company brings the rig to our lot, and then we have an inventory manager that generally checks them in, which is just going out, doing an outside walk around, make sure there's no damage, walk through the inside of the rig, make sure there's no damage. If there is, it gets reported for warranty purposes. And then it gets closed back up, and then it'll go up to our shop. Our service manager's been here for 42 years, so our techs are pretty well trained, and they do a complete what they call PDI, which is a pre-delivery inspection. So they'll go through everything, make sure everything works, make sure everything's looking good, and then it'll go through our wash bay, and they'll clean everything up, and then it goes out on the lot, and we open it up, test all the systems, the water system, everything gets checked over. And if we see anything, then it gets fixed, and our service department will take care of it through warranties if there is something that's not right.
Of course. I mean, that makes a lot of sense because you wouldn't want to, just like a customer wouldn't want to receive damaged goods, the RV dealership doesn't want to receive damaged goods either.
Correct.
So I'm sure you guys definitely go over it with a fine tune kind of, yeah.
Moving on. When a customer can't come see the RV in person, how do you work with them? Now, we actually know a little bit about this ourselves because that was our situation.
Because we're in Louisiana and you're in Pennsylvania.
A little ways away.
But just so that everybody else understands, like, what's the process if a customer can't physically be there to see the rig?
Well, pretty much, I guess my job is, as you guys know, it's up to the customer. I'll do whatever I can to make them feel comfortable with the rig they're inquiring about. In your case, you would want pictures of the roof, the underbelly. That's not available on our website. Our website, all the pictures are real pictures of the unit. They're not stock photos. So when you're looking through and you can see different options, you'll see that, okay, this one has recliners or this one has a sofa. And then it's just a matter of me going out, taking pictures or videos or doing a Zoom walkthrough, and answering any questions I possibly can so you feel comfortable.
And you made us feel so comfortable
Thank you.
It was definitely, we
We've got a
had
lot of
no
pictures back
idea
and
what we
forth.
were getting into asking. I mean, you guys are 1,300 miles away from us. So when we were asking those questions, we were,
It's just getting as much information as we could to make sure that it was going to be a worthwhile trip.
And you guys were
But
so
it was.
sweet. I'm sorry, can you go out and get one more picture? I'm like, absolutely, no problem. Of course, it was summer, so.
right. You guys are
was a
not
little
in
warm.
summer right now. So
I didn't have to go out and go through a snowplow to get pictures for you.
little different, but I bet you would do it.
Absolutely.
You were, I mean, you sent us every picture we asked for, and we appreciate it so much. And I have to say a personal thing when so the first time we actually got to see you, I know your picture is on Tom Schaeffer's website because it introduces all of the Tom Schaeffer's family. It's lovely reading about you guys. But before we saw that at all, the first picture we saw of you was actually a reflection in the mirror in a picture that you took for us about how big is the storage underneath the bed. And there's a picture of you. And I'm like, hey, it's Sean.
He has a face.
Next question. What would be a good question that a customer should ask themselves when they're looking for an RV with you?
I would say what their needs are, not just today, but 2-3 years from now. A lot of what I try and help customers out with is we got 2 new grandbabies, so we need bunk beds, or my kids want to come with. So how old are they? Well, they're 13 and 15. And I'll try and say, well, in a couple of years, they're going to be heading off to college or, so I think it's just to research what your plan is and what you want to do as far as, are you going to travel a lot? Are you going to be in a permanent space? And just do yourself some due diligence there, and we take care of the rest.
I like the idea of what you're saying, where don't think about just today, like think about how the RV is going to grow with you, because it will actually be a member of your family.
It's a big purchase. It's a big investment.
Yeah, a lot of people, absolutely. I don't need anything to do with a bunk. I don't want to look at them. And then as I talk to them and listen to what they're doing, I've sold several mid-bunks to people, one that were dog trainers. They do dog shows.
Yeah.
And I suggest mid-bunk because all they had to do is take the sofa out and they could put their crates in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that became their dog room per se. Or you can turn that room into an office. And it doesn't have to, those mid bunks just have a sofa and a bunk bed most of the time. So you just take that top bed out and you got yourself a nice little office or a little nursery if you have a pack and play.
Yep.
Things like that. So that's where our knowledge has to come in and maybe sometimes have the customer think outside the box.
Oh, because there's so many models out there. And I mean, this is your business. So all of the different models, but we were just amazed. Like I want to say we looked for over a year before we committed to the model that we knew was going to work for us. But we're still finding models that we had no idea existed.
Always changing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So once an agreement is made between the dealership and the customer on the price and whatnot, what happens on your end prior to the customer coming to pick up the RV?
So if they're financing, we turn everything over to our finance department. Our business managers, Kathy and Rachel, do an excellent job. They shop around to some banks and hopefully get them approved and get them at a rate that the customers, at a price that the customer's comfortable with as far as a monthly payment goes. And then as long as that's agreeable, then they bring the deal jack back to me. And I'll call the customer and we'll schedule your pickup. Generally, we need about 3 days to get the unit ready. Where again, if it's a unit that just come in and had just been PDI'd, they just kind of do a quick walkthrough. But if it's been, a couple weeks, then we want to make sure everything is perfect and working good. And then it gets through the wash bay again, and then gets set up for your demonstration.
And that's where Jim comes in.
And that's where.
Just curious, how many demo techs, how many walkthrough technicians do you have?
We have 3 that are designated. That's what their job is. And during the week, if it's real busy, some of our other longtime techs will also do the walkthroughs because they're the ones doing the PDI, so they definitely know how everything works.
And the walkthrough was amazing. And we're not going to go into details on that because we have very elaborate videos on our channel that anybody can click on so they can see the wonderful walkthrough that we got with you guys with our demo tech. Amazing Jim.
I'll put a link up in the corner so people can just click on it right now.
And those guys got to constantly educate themselves because the units are always changing. It's always changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, now you briefly mentioned connecting with the finance department. And so if a customer does need financing and they do get connected with the finance department, kind of what does that process look like roughly? Because I know that's not your area, but what might a customer be expecting to see?
Well, when we're talking, I'll ask not in detail, but roughly how's your credit? And so sometimes they don't know. And I'll say that should be around 750. Okay, no problem. So when we work out numbers, we'll go kind of based on what you told us. So then they fill out the credit app and they'll pull the credit. And we have 14, 16 different banks that we deal with. And they'll shop around and get you the best possible rate. And with those banks, there are different levels of banks, I guess you could say, where people with excellent credit, people that are putting a lot of money down, people with maybe not so good credit. I like to call it like a last chance bank, where it's like, okay, hey, we can get you approved, but we can only do this many months. Are you comfortable with this payment? And then they deal with the customer at that point until they either tell me, hey, congratulations, we got it done, give them a call, or maybe sometimes they have to look into their own financing.
Right, and try again. But at least at that point, they know what they need to do.
And I've had many customers that couldn't get approved for whatever reason, and they waited 6 months, worked on their credit, and we got together again a couple months later. So,
okay.
Who knew buying an RV could actually improve your credit?
Yes.
Make you a more well-rounded financial individual.
Okay, for our next question, we've been through this process ourselves, but we'd love to hear your take on it. Can you walk us through what happens on the day when a customer comes in to pick up their RV?
Sure.
That magical happy day.
Well, I'll have your license plate and registration ready, and anything, for example, with you guys coming from Louisiana, get your driver's licenses. If there's a trade, get the registration. Give that to the finance girl so they can get paperwork together. And then I pretty much just wait for you to get here. Meanwhile, your rig is already prepped and waiting, and Jim's having his coffee and getting his speech together and doing his calisthenics and whatever it is he does to prepare. And
loosening up his vocal cords.
Yep, me. And then when you come in, if you need to use the restroom first or want a cup of coffee or something, we take care of that, and then we'll back your rig up to our demo bay so they can check out your 7-way plug to make sure your 4-ways and whatnot are working. We do that before the demo. That way, if there is a problem that you didn't know about, it can be repaired while you're doing your demo. And then I take you into Jim or Bob or Tom, and they do their thing, and I'll put your license plate on, and I just wait for you guys to finish up. When you are finished, they hit you up, and then they'll let you test the brake controller, maybe take a spin around the block, just make sure everything feels comfortable for you, and then you pull up out front, and you come in, and we take you into the finance department, and they finish your paperwork, and then your demo tech will walk you around the shop and suggest things that you might need or want. And then you get a picture with me and off you go.
I love that very
process.
condensed process that I believe took us 7 or 8 hours.
7 or 8 hours, somewhere in that range.
Which I have to say, we loved every minute of it. So, 7 hours just flew by.
We completely forgot to eat lunch.
We did.
And every case is different. It depends on your experience with camping. This could be your 5th camper. So you don't need to go through every nook and cranny. It could be a smaller camper that doesn't have as many options as yours does. So time-wise, it's up to you.
Across the board.
It
So,
varies.
yeah, 'cause we won't let you leave unless you're comfortable.
Absolutely. We were very comfortable once we'd gone through that whole process. And it just for clarification, you were standing outside waving at us as we approached,
Yes.
which made us very comfortable, and it was very welcoming.
Well, I'm pulling up and I'm going, okay, I wonder where we're supposed to. Oh, there's Sean.
Okay, so we're going to go back to kind of one of those what would you recommend the customer think about questions. What are some things that you would recommend a customer should do to make the whole RV buying purchase run more smoothly? So we've briefly tapped into kind of like some finance area or like how you guys make it run smoothly, but what can a customer actually do to make the whole process run more smoothly when they come to you for the first time?
Again, know what, at least have an inkling idea of what you're going to be doing. I mean, are you going to be on a permanent site? Are you going to be traveling? Be cognizant of your vehicle, how much you can tow, how much weight you can put in it so that we can recommend a unit that your truck can safely pull. That's probably one of the biggest
That's a huge thing
problems
right
we have
there.
at times.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have your truck yet, it's best to pick out your RV before you pick up your truck, because you want to be able to make sure you have something that can pull it. We've had several customers that ordered a truck and then fell in love with a unit they didn't know was out there and couldn't pull it.
Uh-oh.
Yep, that puts them
We
in a
need to
spot.
cue the wah wah. Yeah, I think that's a mystery for a lot of people is which one comes first, the truck or the RV.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a dance. It's a balance between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the reasons why we ended up with the RV that we got is because we didn't want a dually. So we started actually sizing ourselves and looking at what we could pull without having a dually. And here we are.
well, this man's really good with numbers. So he had a spreadsheet to run all of the numbers of what rigs could actually work with different model trucks. So I think a lot of people aren't exactly wired like this guy.
Can you share that?
And I like your suggestion that you kind of need to know, like, kind of pick out the rig first and then figure out what truck.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can go to your local truck dealer and say, this is what I need to pull. This is what I need for pin weight. And
Right.
I need a truck that can do it.
Yeah, because most of the heavy duty trucks out there can haul the weight. They might not be able to carry the pin load, though. That's a huge deal.
Correct. And there's a lot that goes in it. And people just think, oh, well, I got an F-150. I should be able to pull this. Well, it depends on, is it 4-wheel drive? Is it a crew cab? Different gear ratios.
Yep.
So there's actually more to it than saying I have a 1500 truck.
I believe we're going to be doing another video about demystifying
The truck side of things.
the truck and RV like matchup process, because that is a whole different, but I think it's like you're mentioning, a really important thing to consider, because if you fall in love with a rig that your truck can't tow, it's like, it breaks your heart.
That leads into our final catch-all question.
Mhm.
So, do you have any other advice that you'd like to share with our viewers that might about demystifying the RV buying process?
Have fun with the process. I mean, so many people are so uptight. They're going to watch this video going, I got to worry about financing. I got to worry about this. Have fun with it. It's a big purchase. It's our job to make sure you're happy. I like you guys, but I don't want you coming back here in 3 months going, we need to trade in because we didn't get the right rig.
Oh,
No, I want people in 2 years to say, man, we love this thing, but we love it so much we want to go bigger, or we need to downsize. Oh, by the way, my cousin's looking for one. He's coming up to see it because they trust us and we did the right thing by him.
I think that we actually did have so much fun in this process. I think a lot of that actually was you guys calming our nerves. Yeah, y'all know your business so well, and you know, like, those things to think about. And I hope that when people are watching this, they're not getting stressed out by, oh, I need to look at my finances. Oh, it's more of a, these are things and ways to kind of make the process run more smoothly. These are
Sure.
questions that you want to ask yourself. And that way you can focus more on the fun. Because once you have kind of just a little understanding of all those other things, then you really get to focus a lot more on, oh, I can see myself in this rig because this is what I want to do. Or
Yeah, get the hard questions out of the way first, and then you can enjoy your time.
and then it should be like smooth sailing and fun, which is what we hope all of these questions will do for people who are really nervous and not sure what to expect when they go into buying an RV, because
And obviously,
that was us.
I was very blessed getting into this business, coming here to Tom Schaeffer's to work. We've been in business for 65 years. So I had some good leadership to get me to be able to serve customers the best of my abilities. One of our managers has been in the business 26 years, so there's always someone I can go to answer a question properly. If I don't know, I'm not going to guess. I'm going to find out for you.
And I have to say, when you said that to us for the first time, there was actually a moment because that's such a refreshing thing to hear. It's so honest and it's so helpful.
And there's a lot of people who will just rather spout some BS off the top of their head rather than admit, no, I don't know that. Let me find out for you.
I love how I saw y'all's process work from the different departments, and y'all work so well together.
That's what's rewarding to us to hear.
Now,
that's the dream, isn't it? That's the dream.
I do have one more question that's going completely off the script here. What in the world is that on the ceiling behind you? Is that like a swing down door?
Oh yes, that's a garage door. There's actually, if you look this way, there's a garage door to go outside. I'm not sure the total history of the building, but I know they used to sell sports equipment years ago back in the shop. Yeah, I think that's what that's all about.
I just have seen that up in there in the background. Going, what in the world?
That's my cage they put me back in when we're done here. They only allow me out certain times.
Oh, there you go.
And we're ending the interview. Got King Kong Sean back there. Actually, let me ask you this. Just curiosity. You got Tom Schaeffer's has been in business for 65 years. Have they been in that location for 65 years?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the original Tom Schaeffer's. OP.
There you go.
How do you tarnish his legacy? We all try and be at our best at all times to keep the name and reputation alive.
Well, I think y'all do a wonderful job at that. We love being a part of the Tom Schaeffer RV family. I love that we're a part of it.
Well, thank you so much for your time, guys.
Thank you for having us. All right. See ya.
Bye.